Hello and welcome back to the X-Ring. I hope you're doing well this weekend. I actually have a really exciting episode for you today, and this is actually going to be one of the first reviews that I've seen of the new Q Mini Fix SD. Alright, so you guys know that I'm a really big fan of the 300 Blackout cartridge, and you really can't say 300 Blackout without mentioning the name Kevin Brittingham. He's the guy that really kind of standardized the 300 Blackout in a roundabout way. Remember, it did exist in a 300 Whisper, but you know, a lot of his involvings with that cartridge helped really bring it to what it is today. You guys are familiar with the Honey Badger and all these other fine rifles that Q makes, and in full disclosure, I have no attachment to Q. This was not sent to me by Q. I've met Kevin a few times and spoke with him, but nothing was sent to me for free. As a matter of fact, I want to give a big shout out to Peace of Mind Guns, Mason out there in Utah. He was able to secure some of these because they only did 100 of these, was my understanding. So it is a very limited quantity. If you are wanting one, definitely go check him out because I think he's actually got some in stock over there. Now, as far as the Fix is a great platform. It's very similar to the Sig Cross firearms. I mean, I think they kind of copied all the Fixes that Kevin had put out, but either way, the Fix is kind of like the original. Okay, he's the inventor of it, and this is a really unique platform. So looking at the Mini Fix SD, you're going to retain a lot of the same features that you see on the regular Fix. However, this one's super compact. It does have an integrated handguard with a heat shield over a suppressor that is only available for this unit. This is not a suppressor that can be bought on its own, and this is a 2-tack stamper. So basically, you're going to pay for the suppressor as well as the fact that it is an SBR. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about unfolding it first, because that's the biggest complaint with the Fix, and that's kind of understanding how to deploy the stock. So first and foremost, what you want to do is just remember that the stock always goes down. And the easiest way that I've found is to hold the front of the grip, press down with your thumb, and what you're going to do is once you press that down, you can see that slight movement, then it will release and then open. What I like about it is there is zero play here. And when I say zero, I mean zero play once it's locked up. But to begin, what we're going to do is start at the back and work our way towards the front. Okay, on the back, one of the biggest complaints about the Fix is the lack of a big recoil pad. But remember, they were really trying to get this to be super lightweight, which this one is. This one actually weighs in just as you see it without the EOTech or the mount at 7 pounds exactly, okay? The bipod weight is included in that, and this bipod does come with this unit. Without the bipod and without the optic, you're looking at about 5 pounds, 12 ounces. Now, continuing on with the butt pad, it is adjustable. You do have a press button on the side here, and you can move this up and down, but this is a very, very small butt pad. You can adjust the length of pull with these thumb screws here, so no tools needed for the length of pull. You do have a QD attachment here, like a clip attachment, as well as some place to put a strap for a sling. It does have a provision for 2 holes at the bottom, which I'm sure is for a bag rider. And then as far as the cheek riser, you are going to need a Torx to be able to adjust this up and down. But you can see how minimalistic and how svelte this butt stock is. I mean, it's really nice, believe it or not. It just needs a larger butt pad in my opinion. Now, to close this, we're going to do just the opposite. We're going to hold the front and press down with our thumb on top of this little hinge here. What I'll also do is put the butt stock in my pocket, because this is my shoulder pocket, because this is very new, and this will actually help me kind of manipulate it to press down on it. And once you close it, it is locked in position. This does have a Magpul grip. It is very thin, but remember, they're trying to keep it minimalistic. This does have what appears to be a Radian selector switch. That's what it looks like to me. Now, it might be Kevin's, but I don't know. It is a 45-degree throw, just like his bolt mob. The bolt mob on this is not a 60 or a 90, but a 45-degree throw, so very, very short. And it is in the cock position. I've already checked it, but let's say we wanted to fire it. The lift is not so heavy that I still can't do it with an index finger. Now, the bolt is rather unique. It is unlike anything you've ever seen before. It runs on this rail system here. It has a large back to it, but it is very smooth. I mean, so smooth, you can just open and close very freely. To remove the bolt, you do have a bolt release here at the top instead of on the sides like you're used to seeing. And let me just go ahead and do that. If I press down on the release, then we can remove the bolt. Now this has a really unique design. Like I said, there's really nothing else like it out there on the market, and it is really, really smooth. Now that's going to get us into talking about the trigger. On this particular unit, the trigger is kind of strange, okay? We're going to go ahead and focus in on this. It is a two-stage trigger, and it's super, super crisp, but that's your first stage. And then as I pull back, I can feel movement inside, and I can actually feel it moving in the bolt itself. So a little bit of slop there before you actually hit the wall, and if you place your hand on the top, I can actually... You guys hear that? That's just from pressing the trigger, but it is a clean break. Once you do get beyond that and then hit that wall, breaks cleanly. As far as the magazine release, it is just a standard AR style release, so familiar AR controls. This uses the standard configuration for a Stanag mag, and moving on forward, you do have this handguard. Now, the SD does have this integrated heat shield, and it does help getting the thermal signature away from you, so you're not getting a lot of mirage off of the can itself. You do have this full-length Picatinny, so if you needed to attach thermals or night vision, you can do that. All right, so continuing on down, you do have the Q certs here for attaching things, and then the suppressor. This suppressor is not available as a standalone product. This is specific to the Minifix SD. You do have a cherry bomb that's underneath this handguard. It is a 5H24 on an 8-inch barrel with a 1 5 twist. This is the suppressor for it, and it is just labeled Minifix and serialized. It is a full titanium suppressor from my understanding, and yeah, that's it. So as far as the bipod, it is very minimalistic. You just pull straight down on it, and this will go to a 45 position or a 90. In order to extend it, you are going to have to twist this leg, and then you can pull it out. There we go. And then turn it in to lock it in place. So not the easiest, but it does work. And once again, remember, it is minimalistic. It does have cant to it. So you can adjust the tension. I do like the tension that came on here from the factory. And it does attach via Torx on the bottom of the handguard. You could move it out here if you wanted to, but I think they placed it here for a reason, just to keep it compact and to keep it from sticking out too far. I have this topped off with a Night Force cantilever mount on top of an EOTech Voodoo 1-10. I think it's plenty good enough for a 300 Blackout, so let's go ahead and start shooting it. All right, so before we actually get into evaluating the actual platform, what I want to do is I want to test it for first round pop. I don't have the sound meter with me today. I actually have it, but I'm not going to use it. So for those that are familiar with the LXT series, apparently there is not a peak rise time that it could actually miss. And rather than get into it with all the freaking engineers saying that I'm missing the rise peak time, I'm just going to go off of what I hear. Now, one of the things that I have noticed, now I have a set of DJI mics with a microphone here by my left ear, and then I also have a Sennheiser mic here on me. But on that camera there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the Sennheiser, because the onboard microphone on the Sony actually does a better job, in my opinion, of representing what you would really hear out on the range. So for right now, I'm talking with the Sennheiser. I will disconnect it here in just a few moments. What we're going to be using, and I have a slew of ammunition, but I think everybody respects the Fiocchi brand. I have some 220 grain rated at 1020 feet per second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load 3 rounds of the Fiocchi. All right, but I also have the B&T, the SPR 300, as well as an AAC handy rifle. So what we're going to be looking at eventually, and I'll film this later, but I'm trying to do everything with first round pop so you guys can really get a good evaluation of this. We're going to all use the same ammo out of the same box, but that's going to be at a later date, probably in a day or so. But we've got the B&T, the SPR 300 that comes in at $5,000. You have the Q, the Minifix SD that comes in at $4,000. Now, of course, this produces less optics. But then we also have a Ruger American in 300 Blackout. You can get that rifle for about $500 at any gun store. And I'm just going to throw a really good suppressor on there, something like the AB suppressors, the Raptor with the reflex on it, and we're going to compare it. So I'm going to have all of those out here, but you're not going to see that in this video. This video is exclusively about the Q Minifix SD. But I do want you to hear this first and foremost. So for those that are new to suppressors, anytime you fire your first shot, this has not had a round through it in over 24 hours. So we know that we have oxygen, we have ambient air within the actual suppressor itself. So your very first shot is actually going to use that oxygen to help it burn, because we know that oxygen itself is not flammable, but it makes things more combustible. So what we're going to do is, if I can get this fly off of me, what we're going to do is shoot that first one. It is going to be louder. That'll be that first round pop. And then the two subsequent shots are going to be very, very quiet, because we have displaced most of that oxygen that's sitting within the side of the suppressor. So I don't even have this zeroed yet, but what I'm going to do is, before I chamber around, I'm going to disconnect this Sennheiser, and then we'll have the DJIs on, and then the onboard Sony mic. Pretty darn quiet. Pretty darn quiet. All right, so now that the sound evaluation's out of the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 rounds. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this thing zeroed at 50 yards and see what kind of group we can get with the Fiocchi. Now, whoever the viewer was that commented on the Allen Digiscope mount, you're a lifesaver. So I was able to order one of those, bought it myself, didn't, reach out to the company or anything like that. That is going to be a game changer for this long range footage. Very, very impressed with it for sure. And hopefully it'll change the content. So I've got 50 yards out here. I just need to see where this is at, because I haven't even bore sighted it or anything. And remember, we're just using a 10 power. So I'll give you my evaluation on how this feels, how it shoots. Give me just a moment to get all this set up. Okay, so the action, smooth, short, crisp. I have no idea where it's going to go. So I'm going to aim just dead middle of the paper, somewhere around the number 1. So it is, elevation looks pretty good. I am to the right. All right, so let's go for the bullseye. We'll start with 3 rounds. And see what kind of group it holds at 50. At 50, I'm actually expecting a pretty decent group on this, if it likes this ammo. So we're going to go for target number 1. Man, that is short, such a short throw. Here we go. Okay, recoil is pretty soft. Throw is incredibly short. Same point of aim. That's either in the same hole or it's in the same hole. Okay, so did not like that third shot for whatever reason. And remember, guys, that's at 50 yards. That's actually pretty horrid. So let me do that again. We'll do 3 more. Remember, I'm holding the same point of aim, haven't changed anything. And what we'll do is we will go to target number 2, far right. Everything's tight. All right, so target number 2, here we go. Okay, so at 50 yards, guys, it's about a 1-inch group with this ammo. So not really the best grouping. I know everything's tight. Let me switch to some Defender. This is actually some really good stuff when it comes to being really quiet. This is a 200 grain, I believe. It might be a 220. And it's probably gonna have a different impact, but let's check it at 50 on the next target down, bottom left, target number 3. Here we go. Yeah, it's a little bit faster actually. You can see a little high and right. Same size group. That might have been the same hole as that one. Let me go ahead and feed another Defender in here just to see. Oh yeah, easy to drop in. I can't tell where those are going. We'll have to check it out in just a moment and see. It looks like it's in a black box. Let's go ahead and shoot some more. Here we go, just continuing that same target. Okay, so this isn't a precision setup to say, per se. So we're gonna go to this ADI World Class match. Big shout out to the guys over at Global Ordnance for sending this out. We'll see how this goes. So you guys are getting a full gamut of how this thing's doing. All right, so for this last grouping, we are gonna go for target number 5, bottom right. Here we go. Just a hair right and low again. In the bullseye. And now we're chewing out the bullseye. So maybe it took a round or two to get settled in. Let me try 1 or 2 more shots. Not getting any type of substantial mirage. So a little bit of a shift. Hear what it sounds like on the steel. Yeah. That is solid. This is a pretty impressive unit, guys. All right, so this is a really neat little package. It's super light, compact. It's like it does everything you need it to do and really nothing more. I'm pretty impressed with it. It just has a good, clean look. So I've got 10 rounds loaded in here. Guys, this thing weighs nothing. I mean, I'm gonna hold 2 fingers out here like this. I haven't gotten any type of mirage or anything like that off of the heat shield itself, but I do have 10 rounds in here. I do have the downrange camera. I have a 3rd IPSC and then a spinner. So what we'll do is we'll just shoot some of these. Just pretend we were hunting and we would get in the best position as possible. We'll go for the top one, right. Just off, bottom one, back to the top. Let's go ahead and deploy the bipod, and we'll do all 3. Here we go. Back to the top. So I would probably need to zero this a little bit better with the 300 Blackout ammo that's in here, but it's actually pretty cool. You can manipulate the bolt very quickly, even though ergonomically it probably needs a knob or something, but you can do a lot with just one finger. All right, so what I'm talking about specifically is right here. It's just really small. I'm going to try to keep it in frame, but I mean, it's so easy just to press forwards, down with your thumb, lift, and then back down. It's very fast. All right, so what we're going to try to do is, it's never a good idea to try to shoot subsonics, especially for hunting. It's just not enough energy. I've got the supers in here. I've got the target cam set up for 500 yards, and we have a man steel out there. So just real quick, I got a velocity, just run it in Stree-Lock. And here we go. Let's see if we can hit it at 500.
I just wanted it out.
I think it was off left, just a hair. Or am I missing right? I don't know. There it is. So I'm having to hold left edge just a little bit. Let's see if we can follow that one more time. And there it is. So guys, that's an 8-inch barrel on this Cube Mini Fix SD. Let's see if we can take it out to 600. All right, so now we're gonna go 600, and we'll see if we can do this with the 125s. I do have the camera on behind me. This is a 1 in 5 twist barrel, so it does move quite a bit because of spin drift. Here we go. Impact. You guys saw that on camera. Let's follow it up again. Just underneath it. Impact. So with the supers, like a shooting 125 grain like a Match King, you definitely have the energy to be able to reach out. Just remember, this is only an 8-inch barrel. So I'm not even going to try 700 because of the distance out there. It's getting dark out. They're getting ready to do a night match, but the 300 Blackout can be extremely versatile. All right, so it is starting to rain. I do have the camera set up. I have 5 rounds here. There is a 10-inch steel at 700 yards. Very low percentage shot, but I do have that island set up, which is really cool, so I should be able to get you this footage, or at least you can see how close I'm getting to it. So shooting the 125s, you'll have to spot because I can't, so you'll see it as it happens. And remember, this is only a 10 power optic. All right, here we go. Man, the wind is whipping. No idea. I'll tell you what, we'll go for the full-size IPSC. And back to the 10-inch. That looked like an impact, so pretty cool. I got one more shot left. Let me try it again. Oh, it's so hard to see in the rain. All right, so it is a little bit muggy out, so you gotta excuse the draping redneck neckline there. But what do I think about the Q Fix Mini Fix SD? I think it is a really, really cool little package. I mean, look at that, guys. I mean, you can hold it out at an arm's length. This wouldn't be fun to shoot because it hits your knuckle here, but it's super light. There's nothing to it, and I like it. The accuracy is, it's okay with the ammunition that we tested. As far as the controls, everything seems small. And that's in a good way. So it's like everything just moves so quickly, and shooting it or comparing it to other bolt actions, even though they might be short, this is super short. I really like what Kevin did with this. I think putting a LPVO like a 1 to 10 is all you really need for something like this. And you know, it's kind of funny because placing the bipod here, even when this gets hot, guys, I just shot like 40 rounds through this. I can still hold it and I'm okay, because even though the guard is hot, by having my hands on the bipod, I'm not getting a lot of heat to my hands. Now, to hold this, you're not going to hold it that long, but it does do a great job of keeping that heat off of your hand so that it's not on fire. As far as the butt pad, this leaves a little bit to be wanting. Okay, now I will tell you, in the 300 Blackout, this is nothing, but I've seen a lot of reviews of the fix in like 6.5 Creedmoor and 308, and people say that it's just brutal because there's really no recoil pad back here. As far as the ergonomics, it fits me well. I have no issues with the ergonomics. I think it's great, and it is $4,000. That's the problem, but you know, we do try to review premium products here, and I think it's pretty cool that there's only like 100 of these that are going to be made. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that review of the Q Mini Fix SD. We are going to do that comparison and compare it to some other 300 Blackouts. See what you think. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.